So honestly, I'm kind of lazy when it comes to campsites. Like, I'm not really like, I'm gonna push it and see if I can find like the most epic spot ever. Nah, I'm like, okay, that one's open and nobody's around, and I think I'll take that one. I'm gonna mispronounce this, but I am on a camp spot on the Arkansas River in Colorado, though. And they have like fire pits, but right now there's a fire ban in Colorado because there have been some fires. I'm sure there are people who are ignoring it and doing it anyway. So, that's a thing. So it doesn't even matter that I don't know how to make a campfire. But like, these sites are really cute. I'm new to all this, so I just saw the little gate with the numbers on it, and it's totally free, and they have it marked with little rocks along the road. The least confusing, like, where can I pull in type thing. It is a little rough right here. When I was on closer to Elephant Rock, there's like a free campground near Elephant Rock, and that thing was kind of packed. Like, it was claustrophobic packed. And so I think I might have slept in a day use area last night, but nobody stopped me. And so I left this morning, and that wasn't the plan. Like, I was supposed to find a campsite like last night. And instead, I ended up coming out and finding it this morning, and now it's almost noon. And that was not the plan, but it's totally cool. I can finally just settle down and be chill for a few days, which was all I wanted anyway. And it just took an extra day to get here. And like I said, that's the kind of stuff that isn't covered, I don't think, by like a lot of YouTubers I watch, is like the time you spend like looking for campsites and going down dodgy roads and hoping like when you get to the other end of this dodgy road. Chrome has done that sometimes. Like, he's gone down a road and even ended up not camping there and like shown us that. But like, very few people do that. They'll show you the campsite once they're there. They'll show you some of their cool road footage, and by the time it's cut together, it looks really effortless. But like, one of the reasons I don't go campsite hunting a lot is because it's a lot of work. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I can sleep in any city really easily. Like, I've had no problems, like, dropping into a strange city or town, finding some place I can overnight sleep, going to bed, waking up in the morning, doing my thing during the day. And mostly because I don't expect to stay still in one spot. Now, that is the grand advantage of coming out to campsites like this. As long as you're all stocked up, you got all your water, you got enough food for a bit, you got enough gas that you ain't worried about like going whatever the distance is to town. Now, honestly, I am really close to a town right now. In this little area, there's like residential houses and kind of like a little like town area with like gas stations and stuff not that far away, and that's probably why they actually patrol this area, because it would be really easy to like just try to stay here like long term and then have easy access to town or whatever, because it's really not that far. Yeah, you have to go down a dodgy road, but it's really short. The last time I camped out in California, like, I hadn't seen a gas station in so long before I got to the place where I parked. I was like worried. Like, I really felt like out in the middle of nowhere. Number one, here I can look look left and see like an RV or another camper. Like, other campers are really accessible. Other people who are camping is really accessible. And town itself is really accessible. Yeah, I have to go down a little bit of a dodgy road to get there, but it's like, it's nowhere away. Like, I could get to a Love's travel stop probably in like 20 minutes. Even taking it slow on sort of the rough patch of the road. Once I get past that bit, like, I'm not that far from a paved road. And this is still like a pretty nice, like, I really like this spot. I mean, like, coming across some of the rocks and getting myself positioned the way that I wanted to be positioned. I kind of wanted my rear end towards the trees because I kind of want to wash my hair. And so if I'm going to like semi-shower, I don't want to be like, I want my rear end to, tucked towards the trees. I don't have a tarp and I don't have a shower tent, but every time I've used the shower before, honestly, I was out in the middle of nowhere where I like saw nobody. But campers, other people in RVs and vans and all the things are very accessible around here. In fact, the campsite beside me definitely has somebody in it. I mean, they're minding their own business, tucked into their own trees, but yeah, I was like, I'm going to take the first empty site I see. I wasn't going like exploring too far down. Cause like I'm feeling more comfortable in this van, but I think in general, like, unless I'm like with somebody, I'm a little bit of a chicken. Like, I'm about this much of a chicken. Like, I'm brave enough to go, okay, I'm gonna go out and find me some BLM land. But also, once I get here, I'm so exhausted by the experience of the dirt road. I'm like, oh, there's an open one, I'll take that one. I'm not even like shopping around for the best possible option. I'm just like, there's an open spot. It's mine. So there were a couple of little project things that I wanted to get done while I had a campsite space and like didn't have to worry about zigzagging or packing up at a certain time or anything like that. And unfortunately, it rained most of the day, so I'm going to push that stuff into tomorrow. But right now, I'm just going to make me a can of soup, to be honest, and then I'm going to work on some videos. Alright, so one of the things I talked about when I first set up my lights was the fact that I had to look at these ugly red and black cords, and people gave a lot of suggestions for ways to make that a little bit prettier. Since it's been kind of rainy and not great outside, I still love this campsite, but it's like anything else. It was kind of rainy and blah outside. I tried to sit outside anyway, and really it wasn't the rain, it's the wind. And whenever you get that combination, it gets a little bit nippy. It's not super warm in the van, but at least you're not really getting the wind. And I still have the front windows cracked, and it was a really, I just put on my hoodie and I sat here, and I think I'm just I'm used to weather. Like, people, I think, panic a lot about weather because they're used to being like in a house in a controlled weather situation. And I've spent a significant amount of time not having that, at least, and to the point that it's like I don't expect it to be like super weather controlled like it would be in a house. That's besides the point. I'm stuck in the house, the van, and I wanted to do something to sort of like make these cords a little bit less ugly. Now, what occurred to me was the stupid thing I did was run them all across the top so that I was still looking at them, when in fact I can let them all kind of drop down behind the furniture. But for the part that's like immediately by and over the stove, I want to put this on top of it just so it looks a little less, ew. So that's what we're going to do. The first project is covering up those cords so that they look a little bit prettier. I'm gonna snip these 2 zip ties, but that looks a little bit better in that you just have this black that's running from the back of the light. It's running across there, and then it just dips down instead of running all across the top of here, which I think looks way better. So the weather basically got too terrible yesterday to continue with renovations, and then it just got really, really late. But there is something I haven't shown you guys that's a bit of a change for the van, and there's a whole reason for it. It's a micro renovation, as I like to call it. So let's discuss that. Forgive all the sand and dirt. I am, parked in sand and dirt, and it's really hard not to track it in. I try to take off my shoes right here so it doesn't get any worse. But as soon as I get back in the city, I'm gonna vacuum all this at a what do you call them? A car wash vacuum place. But anyway, more importantly, my porta potty is now in the front against the passenger seat, and it just was not working out in the back, and it's not in the way. I can still pull the fridge out and use the fridge, and it's just been better. I mean, I can't say it any other way than that. It's more comfortable to sit here. It's nicer. The only thing I would really want is a cover for the porta potty, so that when I open my door, the first thing I'm not seeing is the porta potty. But I do sit on the lid now casually as a seat. At this point, it doesn't seem like flipping, and all that reflectix back there is part of another project. But at this point, it's not like the seat rotates, so having this here just gives me a place to sit. And I find myself sitting on it a lot. I still use it for a TV stand. Sometimes I'll put my laptop here while I'm cooking. Right now the laptop's over there and it's charging. But this has actually worked out, like moving the porta potty to the front instead of having it in the back. It was really cute having that little bathroom section in the back, but if it's visually cute and not functional, it really doesn't matter. It's also easier when I'm getting rid of my wastewater if the toilet's right here, because everything I need to do is right here. So I can just open my doors, I can get the bottom of the porta potty and grab the wastewater, and then I can dump both of them and move on with life, which is great. Now, the main reason for the change is this folding bicycle that I got, which is super fun to ride. As you can see from the dirt, I rode it out here. I always said I only wanted a bike if I had a van big enough that I could store it inside. And when I first got this van, I thought that wasn't gonna be possible. But then I casually look at bikes a lot because it's something I would love to get back into. And I saw that bike on the Walmart website, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe. And so I did a lot of research on it as far as what kind of weight it could handle and things like that. And it seemed like something that I could reasonably get. Now, it is a city commuter bike. That's its purpose. It's not a dirt bike. It's not really meant to be out on a lot of rough trails. But I spend a lot of time near city parks with bike tracks, racks, trails all the time. Places where you can ride a bike. And also as the flat areas out here, I can still ride the bike, even though it's not for rough trails. I rode it up there and around. If I still have the clip, I'll post it. Patreon saw this bike a while ago, and so that's why I got the bike. But I was like, where can I put the bike? Even folded up, I don't really have a spot for it. And it just has to do with the way the storage is designed in the van right now. There's more than enough room for it in general, but the storage isn't designed around accommodating it right now. But I was like, that space over there where the bathroom is perfect. There's all this dead space on top of the toilet. So I initially just put it on top of the toilet, and I was like, you know what? I'll just pull it out the way when I need to. Well, that got annoying in 24 hours. So I was like, let's just put the toilet up front and see, how bad it is. And it was fine. And I was like, oh, okay. And I actually sit on this toilet a lot. I'll use it for a table surface. So I would really love to find a cover for it, but I really do like the porta potty being up front, for convenience, for comfort, for all kinds of things. Also for the fact that something that has water in it is no longer in the back, right beside my electrical. Like that always kind of half disturbed me, is that I had this thing that had liquid in it right beside the electrical. But built this whole cute door area, he's just holding the toilet paper in, around the fact the toilet was back here and it's no longer back here. So I think I'm going to get rid of the tile rack and the toilet paper holder. I'll find another place to put my towel, just because now they're just in the way of the bike fitting comfortably back here. I'm always shoving the door so that everything kind of conforms a little bit. This is going to stay here. But like I'm going to take all of this cute little bathroom stuff off of the wall. Usually I have my shower and my shower bucket hanging there. I'm using them right now. Or you know, they're in transition right now. They'll go back here though. I'm going to leave those there, but like I'm going to take the towel off the door. Maybe I'll leave the towel, but I'm definitely going to take the toilet paper off. And the rack for the washcloth, because I wash up by the sink every day, it's not even making it back here anymore. So I'm going to reconfigure sort of this back door now that I've moved where the toilet is. Now the ladder is out because most of my campsite stuff, my canopy, my chair and all that, which is all set up over there, it lives up there. And so I need the ladder to get to it. But one of my major renovation projects has to do with how this ladder is tied down on top of the van. Okay, so right over here below this deflated ball is the straps I had on the ladder. And they were just so bright and ugly, and I've wanted to change them out since I put them up. So one of my other renovation projects, even though it isn't really a renovation, it's just using black straps to strap down the ladder. So I got this set of like black and red straps, and what I wanted was a basic black strap to strap down the ladder, and so I'm going to use these instead when the ladder goes back up. The old way of strapping it down hasn't moved. It's been on the highway, so hopefully these will work just as well. I took one out to remind myself how to ratchet a ratchet strap. It's been a while, guys. So when the ladder goes back up, it's going to be strapped down with these, but it's not going to go back up until I break down the campsite, which I'm going to do tonight so that I'm ready to roll early in the morning. So I've been shooting my Jackery review, which you have long past seen, along with packing up this campsite. And so my canopy is down, and if we go over here, my chair is on top of the table. By the way, I finally bought me a comfortable chair, and it was one of my best purchases. But after I get everything kind of put away, which will include getting the ladder back on the roof of the van, I'm going to do my final renovation project, which was the main one I wanted to get done. So it's funny that it's the last thing I'm actually getting to. So I made like 3 of these like a week ago. And I just didn't finish them. I just need to put black on them, and these are basically for my 3 big windows. Number 1 for installation, number 2 for increased privacy, because if you really want to see in, if you come up to the window, you can kind of see past the blinds. But like, yeah, I had a couple cold days here. It wasn't too cold, like I could deal with it. But before the sun goes down, because I'm losing daylight, I want to throw some black contact paper on these and slip these in my 3 large windows, and that'll just provide some extra insulation without me having to have like hanging curtains around me again. I don't plan to ever go back to those, and I've already gotten rid of most of the moving blankets. I have 1 hanging behind the seat and 1 extra one that I kept just in case. Yes, I turned 1 moving blanket into my between cab and house curtain instead of having 2. And it does hang off the floor a little bit, but that's actually been great. So that has worked out for me. But I want to slip these into the windows, but first I want to throw some contact paper on them. But before I even get there, I just want to get everything put away. So all I have to do is put the contact paper on these, put them in the windows, and then be done. and be ready to kind of roll out in the morning without having a lot of stuff still left to do.